NBA History Channel is brought to you by Prize Picks and the Game Time app.
Far be it for me to agree with everything Scottie Pippen says. I rarely agree with much of what he says, but in this case, I think he's mostly right.
Because you're in the game. How much of it do you think David Stern, what is the different style of David Stern running the NBA versus an Adam Silver?
I felt like David Stern era, he ran the game. I think Adam Silver's era, he's more or less allowing the players to have some input in terms of how the rules of the game are changing.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it looks like it's pretty bad right now.
Oh, interesting.
But I think I think it's a lot of things. You know, I definitely feel like the 3-point shot has turned fans away from the game because it's just no teamwork in shooting a 3-point shot. There's no teamwork in coming down and taking a shot from behind the 3-point line. But there's teamwork in coming down and executing a play. Everybody touches the ball and you get a bucket out of it, whether it's a 2 or a 3.
It continues to be a battle between what is the problem with the NBA ratings. Is it too much 3-point shooting? Is it the way the game is being marketed? The way the rules are being positioned? Whether they're advantageous to the entertainment value? I mean, Scottie kind of hit on it all there. The volume of threes that are being shot in today's game by teams that do not have the personnel to be shooting many 3-point shots is kind of producing a boring, bland style of play that is ugly to watch when shots aren't dropping. The flip side of that is any team can catch fire, but for teams that strategize towards volume 3-point shooting, and of course the Celtics come to mind, when their shots are falling, it is beautiful basketball. And where I disagree with Scottie, where's he going with no ball movement and getting players involved? When the 3-point shots are falling and the game's being played correctly to generate those open shots, there's a lot of action going on off ball and a lot of ball movement. Like, watch the Celtics when they are at the height of 3-point dominance. That's some beautiful basketball to watch as you're watching that, the ball completely, swing back and forth. The opposite viewpoint is, teams that can't shoot shouldn't be trying to shoot. Where Scottie kind of goes off on a tangent about ball movement and, everybody getting involved. And I think it's a pretty common take with the legends to have. I don't necessarily see that so much. The other viewpoint is David Stern versus Adam Silver. Now, I've been screaming since 2019 that this power shift has like a political pendulum, it has swung from one side of the universe to the other since 2020. Really has swung into the favor of the players. Now, a good balance between players and owners within the association is a healthy association, but we're not seeing that so much anymore. And I think the differentiator between Stern's NBA and Silver's NBA is Stern kind of ruled at the center of all decisions. And I don't think anyone ever questioned where David Stern was getting his opinions from or forming his opinions or who his brain trust was. David Stern ultimately made the final decision, and everybody kind of trusted that Stern, whether a popular decision or not, would make a decision that's best on behalf of the association. So there was the players, the ownership groups, and David Stern. And I think that's the biggest difference. David Stern made the ultimate calls, and most times he made the right calls. Whereas in today's NBA, players do have more input. And I'm not against player empowerment. These are the best athletes in the world and some of the hardest working people in the world. But at the same time, there has to be a balance that exists because fans are too smart. I think ultimately with this latest ratings crisis and a lot of the public sentiment or discourse forces Adam Silver to a certain extent to take a look at how he is managing the league today. I mean, it forces him to really take a look at it. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how rule changes may come into effect over the next couple seasons to really, and I think sooner rather than later, I think we're already seeing subtle tweaks in season rule changes. Good to see Scottie Pippen out making the rounds again. It's a really interesting full interview with Patrick Betts, and I would suggest you go over at Bulls fans should go over and check it out. I mean, Scottie was very candid without sounding bitter about the Jordan years, I think, but it was really interesting to hear his side of things without all that bitterness. Anyway, I'm Nick Gelso, CLNS Media. Follow me at CLNS_Nick. And don't forget, tonight is Warriors Celtics on Martin Luther King Day. Tip-offs 5 p.m. CLNS Media will have full post-game coverage live immediately following the game. I might jump in. Depends on what happens in the game.
NBA History Channel is brought to you by Prize Picks and the Game Time app.